Kristen Volk, and I am doing the question of the day. And the question is about parenting an adult child. So it is asking about a 20-year-old who has a 15-year-old brain. And it says that there are legal implications that they are allowed to do what they want, but what they want to do is dangerous for themselves. It is hard to parent when they are beyond parenting age. It is hard to protect someone from themselves. It is easier to do all these things when they are under 18. And yes, so I would agree that it is easier when they're younger, but then life is what life is, and you have the situation of having an adult child. And so what I'm really hearing, I guess, first of all, the way I would look at this from a hand-in-hand perspective is that I'm hearing in what you're writing, there's a lot of pain and hurt and fear for this person's future. I don't know if your child's a female or a male, but that you're having lots of feelings around their dangerous behavior. I also don't know how dangerous it is. And so that's definitely a factor. And I also don't know if your child has some kind of special needs or a disability, because you said that they have a 15-year-old brain. So those are additional factors to consider, which I won't address here. But I would definitely say that it's important for you to get support. And the reason for that is because when we are experiencing our children, adult children especially, but our children not able to take care of themselves, like some of their basic needs, like whether it's taking a shower often enough or brushing their teeth often enough or, eating decently healthy meals, to more significant things like drugs or alcohol or just really doing dangerous things, driving unsafely, whatever that might be. And that is really heart-wrenching for us as a parent to watch that, to see that happening. And when we're, and we also start to imagine, it's very common, we start to imagine, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen to my child. It's going to be X, Y, or Z, whether it's they're going to end up in jail, they're going to be homeless, they're going to be on the streets the rest of their lives, they're going to be dead. Like, all these things tend to flash in our minds. Sometimes we even obsess on those things. And the challenge is that if we want to be a positive, supportive influence for our child, carrying those worries, those fears and the worries in the back of our brain that are being managed all the time, doesn't allow us to access our best thinking and doesn't allow us to connect very well. And what we do know, what neuroscience tells us, is that we are social beings, that human beings do best when we're connected, that a human being's brain does best when it's connected. And so that's the idea I would like to support here. And the first step of that is to work on our fears, our worries, our concerns, our worst idea of what might happen to our child, our adult child. And so, and this I think would hold true very much so for teens as well, for when you have a teenage child. And so getting listening time, and there's certainly lots of information out there on listening partnership, where you share support with one adult and another, two adults share support. You share the time, you split it in half, you use a timer, you don't give advice, you don't try to fix anything. It's all confidential and it's very specific. So there's lots of information on the internet about listening partnership and listening time, especially on Hand in Hand Parenting's website. And I would really strongly recommend getting listening time for this particular challenge, because all of that fear and worry and concern, understandably, weighs on us, and we put it into what we call our emotional backpack, stuff that we carry around that hasn't been healed, and that blocks us from good thinking so that we can't support our child in moving forward in a better way, better direction. And so if you can rage, cry, shake, and I would recommend lots and lots of listening time, lots and lots of listening sessions where you can do that with another adult so that you can clear up your thinking. The next step I would recommend is to really try to connect with your child. And with a 21-year-old, that might look like different things. It's certainly very, very different than it does with a 5-year-old. But the basic premise of special time, which is a tool that is widely used with hand-in-hand parenting, but the idea with a 21-year-old is to enter that adult's world, his or her world, and delight in who your child is. So that means setting aside your agenda, setting aside what you think he should do or she should do. We get caught up as parents when our children especially when they become teenagers and older, is we oftentimes get stuck on, this is what my child should do. This is what they're doing wrong. And these are the action steps they should take. And I love what you wrote here in terms of like, they have the right to do what they want to do. And actually, we want to support them in making decisions for themselves. And if they're making unhealthy decisions, that's the part that's really hard. And so connection, though, is an incredibly powerful tool. And what we do is we listen in order to connect, because in listening, it dissolves the fear and the frustration and the defensiveness that your adult child might have around your history, around you trying to tell him or her what to do. And so taking a pose, I'm just going to call it a pose, of listening when you're with him, and it doesn't have to be all the time. I would actually tell yourself, okay, for the next 10 minutes, you might have to close your eyes even, for the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to listen. And I'm going to see what, my adult child is feeling and thinking. And just focus on listening in that moment. And try to find little short periods of time when you can do that, when you're in a place to do that, without giving you advice, without fixing him or her, without telling him or her what to do. So that's the connection piece. And I would even call it, give it a name for yourself, special time, to help, oh yes, I need to do special time today, sometime when we're with him or her. And I don't know if this person lives with you or not, but those two pieces, in terms of you getting support, and then the second piece in terms of learning how to listen to him or her in a way that creates safety for him or her without being fixed, can do a lot to start to shift his internal experience of his or her relationship with you. Sorry, I'm using so many different pronouns here. So I hope that makes sense. And those are really kind of the first steps. There's really a lot you can do, and it's hard work. And I really appreciate this question. And I know it's a struggle for many, many parents, and appreciate the work that you're doing to try to love your son or daughter so well. So thank you so much, and stay tuned. If this was helpful, please tell others about these videos, and I look forward to connecting with you more. Bye.